We are coming to a place in the seasons of this realm where it will be impossible to travel. So you must understand the technology of bilocation. There is a time when men can no longer travel by vehicles. We are coming to a place where it may be impossible for believers to gather to pray. How do witches go for their meetings? They don't go there by cars. They travel with the wind, and it's not a testimony. It's not a testimony. When there is time for meeting, sometimes they have their meeting inside tree, because they know that the tree can be a portal into another dimension, and they go for their meeting inside the tree. Sometimes they want to go for meeting when it's 12. They fly into the meeting venue and they gather, and it's not a testimony. If I appear on this altar now, everybody will begin to shout. It will go on CNN, it will go everywhere. Men will not be able to believe it. And we have been so daft in the supernatural now that if somebody does something supernatural, I say it's witch. You say it's a charm. Because we have been robbed of spiritual intelligence that we can't even believe it anymore. When a man rots a dimension, they say it's a charm. What do you mean? Charms are perversion of the reality. We have the reality. The Bible said in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 10 that the principalities and powers will learn the excellencies of God, the manifold wisdom of God, by observing us. So we are supposed to do things that the angels only see God do. We are coming to a time, listen, the world is rounding up. People don't understand. As I was coming to your meeting, I had to go through the airport. And how did they take my temperature? Either they take it on your forehead or they take it on your hand. Those are the two positions for the mark of the beast. The thing has not begun, but they are already programming you to accept it. You are entering into supermarket, they say they are taking your temperature, and they are taking it at the spot where they take the mark of the beast. A point will come when it will become a chip, and for you to fly, you must go there. So it's either you learn the technology by which you can travel without a plane, or the church must become big to build their own airports where it is not necessary. That is where kingdom becomes of the man and of the system. It's either you travel without a plane, or the church has airports that need to travel without vetting you with those instruments. This is why it's a great thing that you are starting a school. It's not about money. It's an insurance policy for the body of Christ. Yes. Because a day will come when your children can't go to school. Because if they go to school, they will come back as sorcerers. Because they will legalize things in their syllabus that will make their soul to be corrupt. Your children will go to school and they will teach them. In America now, it's a scary thing to send your child to school. Because they tell your child that sex is exercise. And they tell your child he or she has the right to determine her gender. So at the age of 8, your child can come and say, I am a girl, but I feel like a man, so I want to change my gender. And you don't have the right to cough. Your child of 15 years, you can come into the house and you see her having sex with her boyfriend, and it's exercise. Because she was taught that thing from the school. Now her conscience has been destroyed. There is no message you will preach that will convict her, because as far as she's concerned, sex is exercise, and it's healthy to have sex every week. It is no longer a sacred thing in marriage. So it's either you have a way of transmitting raw fire into her heart, so that if she hears you, her heart will burn, or we must build our own schools where we teach them the values of the kingdom. This is why you see, what we do is not psyche. We are preparing ourselves because we know time will come when the number of alcoholics will be too many. The number of homosexuals will be too many. So the only thing you can do is to be able to put fire in that person raw. And the person may not understand, but the person will be convicted. The person will listen to you, and the person will lift a chain that transforms. He won't know how, but it's a technology of fire. It will burn like the wings of the seraphims. That's where the word is. When we say we are in a strategic place, this is what we are talking about. The church must become big to be able to build systems and institutions. It's high time a believer has something that is bigger than Facebook, because very soon you cannot put your message on Facebook. when you say Jesus, they will censor it. And if you continue for a long time, they will put a ban on your message. And your message cannot travel to more than 1,000 people. A time will come where you can't call or say certain things on YouTube. They will remove it. So if the church doesn't have it, at the end of the time or at the end of the age, only what they want you to hear, you will hear. Because many believers now are dependent on the media. And if they feed the media, they determine who the believer is. Because whether you like it or not, what you see and hear is what you become.